Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Boy, do I have a lot to say today. Oh boy, oh boy. The Boys of Tommen series. I can't even get it out of the straight face. The Boys of Tommen series. I think I'm saying Tommen correctly. I could be saying it completely wrong. Because do I know anything about the countryside of Ireland? No. Do I have to keep looking at the glossary for the slang terms? Yes. Do I know anything about rugby or GAA or hurling? No. Am I still obsessed with this book series? Freaking yes. Yes, 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 yes. Holy crap. The Boys of Tommen. Let's break it down here and tell you where I'm at in the series, etc., etc. This is a book series by Chloe Walsch. They are beefy novels. 900 plus page novels, okay? These are not your paperbacks on that top shelf. These are 900 plus page novels. And they start with Binding 13. Binding is a rugby term. Why is it called Binding 13? These books take place in a small town, I think it's called Ballyrag or something like that, Ireland. And there's a school called Tommen that is like a private school. And the first two books, Binding 13 and Keeping 13, which are the two that I finished. I am currently on Saving 6. The first two books really center, there's a huge cast of characters. But these first two books center around Shannon Lynch and Johnny Kavanagh. Check your trigger warnings absolutely with this series because it gets so rough. Full spoilers in these videos, okay? So if you have not read through, you can have not finished the series. But if you have not read at least Binding 13 and Keeping 13, thanks for the click, but come back when you finish those two. I have not finished Saving 6 yet. I am like a quarter of the way through it. So you're okay if you have not finished the last 3 yet. You're going to be fine because I haven't either. But Shannon Lynch lives a very miserable life. A horrible, horrible life. So if you have any bullying triggers, abuse triggers, violent, alcoholic, drugs, if any of those are your triggers, this might not be the series for you. I don't have any of those triggers. So it still affected me, but probably not somebody, or as severely as somebody who maybe has experienced these things in their life. Now, Shannon Lynch is the eldest daughter, but like the third in line of a family who, the dad is an alcoholic. He's extremely, extremely, extremely abusive. She's also getting horribly bullied in school, just violently bullied, and it's just, her life is a tragedy. She is not even like growing at this point because she's still stuck, like she's 15 in the books, I believe 14 or 15, and she's stuck in like a 10-year-old girl body because of how much trauma she is daily receiving. And because of this, her mother decides to start working extra hours at the cleaning hospital that she works at and sends her to Tommen, which is a private school, because she can no longer send her to this public school. It is just, she's being atrociously bullied. Like, not even just like bullied, but also physically bullied. So she goes to Tommen, and on her first day at Tommen, she has a run-in with the rugby team. Specifically, number 13, Johnny Cavanaugh. Number 13 on rugby plays center, off center. Number 12 is center. I'm learning, okay? I'm really trying because they use a ton of rugby terminology in these books. There is a really nice thick glossary at the beginning of these books that I truly appreciate because there's a lot of slang terms that I did not know. I didn't even know that what GAA was. It's apparently like Gaelic football, kind of. That comes into play more so with the other brothers of Shannon's. The first two books are mostly rugby centric because Johnny plays rugby. And he's very good. He has like caps for the Irish national team. That means he's subbed or played for them before. He's very good. That's what you need to know. Johnny Cavanaugh is a very, very good rugby player. And he goes to school at Tommen, where Shannon goes to school. And they become very unlikely friends because Johnny accidentally finds out, well, he doesn't accidentally, Gibbsy hands him the information, finds out how awfully Shannon was bullied at the public school, and decides that he's going to make sure that her experience at Tommen is not like that. And that she has a really good school experience at Tommen. And so they become very unlikely friends. And this cast of characters for this rugby team and her two friends. Shannon had two friends in primary school that when she went up to secondary school, they went to Tommen and she had to go to the public school. Well, now she's reunited with Claire and Lizzie, who are her only two friends in the world, at Tommen. And so you have Claire and Lizzie, and then you have this huge cast of characters from Johnny's rugby team. Gibbsy is one of my favorite characters in nonfiction literature. I mean, in fiction literature. I wish it was nonfiction. In fiction literature. He is hysterical, and he has his own book. It's called Taming Seven. It just came out like 2 weeks ago. And actually, I saw a TikTok about it, and that's kind of what encouraged me to read this series. All right, so you've got this huge cast of characters, like I said. Gibbsy is one of my favorite characters. He plays rugby with Johnny Cavanaugh at Tommen, and he's just hysterical. There are some very, very, very heavy things dealt with, like I said, abuse, bullying, drugs. But there is still some really good comedic moments that kind of break this whole heaviness up. The scene where, at the end of the first book, Binding 13, spoiler alert, Johnny and Shannon end up falling in love. Of course they do, right? And so at the end of Binding 13, they've shortly before confessed that they have feelings for each other. And Johnny has to have surgery because he gets injured. Well, he's previously injured, and he's not been taking care of it because of the pressure and stress he's under to perform well. And so he gets hurt in this rugby match up in Dublin that they've traveled to, and has to have surgery, and he's under the anesthesia and the drugs and the morphine. And his parents are there, and Gibbsy is there, and he begs for Shannon to come. So Gibbsy makes it happen, and Shannon shows up in the hospital room. But he's still under a lot of medication. That entirety of that scene, where he's asking his dad if his penis is okay because his injury is groin abductor muscle related, where he's asking Shannon to have his babies because his penis is okay. There is the most hysterical scene in this book. I was laughing until my sides hurt from this whole thing. And the mother, who is just a saint, she deserves sainthood, Miss Cavanaugh does. And God, I just loved this book so much. So Keeping 13 literally picks up right after Binding 13 ends, because Binding 13 ends with Shannon coming home from Dublin. She had stayed overnight with her school for Johnny's game, and she did not get permission, none of that, because her parents would have said no. And her dad's pissed. Her dad's furious. And I already told you the situation with her father with the abuse. So he is probably going to kill her. Like, he is beating the living tar out of her. And that is where Binding 13 ends. And you need to pick up Keeping 13. Keeping 13, Joey, her older brother, has come back to the house and kind of gotten her dad off of her. She is very badly injured, like grasping for life. And her mother kicks her father out. This is not the first time she has kicked this man out. This is more like the 1,000,000th time she's kicked this man out. But Joey and his girlfriend, I think it's pronounced F-A or Efe. It's spelled A-I-O-F-E. They run Shannon to the hospital, and she has to have surgery. She has to have a thing put in because her lung is collapsed. So to breathe, they have to put a pipe in. Like, there's so much stuff. And she's severely injured. And now social services and the police, which are called the Garda, possibly is how you pronounce it. The Garda and the social services are now invested in this situation because she has almost died from the hands of her father. So now the family has to be very, very careful because they have been in the foster care system before, and some really, really traumatic bad things happened to the eldest brother, Darren, while he was in the foster care system. He was molested and raped and things like that. So they do not want to go to the foster care system. So there's a lot of lying and hiding taking place, trying to act like the mother is like a great mom, even though she's herself a terrible mom. She has addiction to pills. She zones out and takes off for days. But they're trying to lie to social services to make her seem like a good mom so that she's protected and gets to keep the small children. And they just, keep the dad away with what is it called? A restraining order and things like that. So all of that is taking place in the background of Johnny and Shanny. Johnny and Shannon. Wow, Johnny and Shanny. Shannon and Johnny. Why can I not say that? Shannon and Johnny kind of falling in love and having normal teenage experiences. In the background, there is so very much trauma and things going on. So I'm not going to give you the huge thing that happens in the second book of their story, but it is a gut-wrenching, heart-wrenching ending to that whole situation. And now they're dealing with Johnny is getting called up to the U20s for the Irish national team to play rugby, and he's got to go to France for a month, and he's got to go to South Africa for a month, and he doesn't want to leave Shannon behind because her world is turned upside down, literally, in Keeping 13. And so he has to make some really difficult choices because rugby has been his whole life, his only love for so long. It's an incredible first 2 books. I mean, yeah, this is a long video because these books are 900 plus pages a piece. You're getting a lot. Now, for book 3 and book 4, which is Saving 6 and Redeeming 6, I'm a quarter of the way through Saving 6, and I like it. These 2 books are Joey and, like I said, I don't know how to say her name. I think it's Efe or Efe's story. Joey and his girlfriend's story. Joey is the older brother of Shannon, but not the eldest. It's not Darren. It goes Darren, Joey, Shannon, Tig, Ollie, and then baby Sean. So Joey's story with Efe or Efe. And I'm enjoying the books. There's more drug addiction happening in these two books of Saving Six and Redeeming Six. But what I'm running into just a little bit is I do feel a little bit like they are retelling the same storylines from Keeping 13 and Binding 13 because I just read it. You know what I mean? So I feel like if I would have read these books as they came out, I would have need that reminder of, oh yeah, this happened. Her dad beat the shit out of them then. And then this happened. But I just read it like 2 days ago. So I remember all of this. So I'm hoping that there's going to be a lot of new stuff that I didn't see from Joey's point of view. Because if not, I don't want to just read a retelling of the books that I just read. You know what I mean? Because Joey was there for all of it. So if it's his story and it's overlapping the exact same times, I'm concerned it's going to be a lot of repetitive. The shock factor is gone, if you would. Like, the thing with Keeping 13 and Binding 13 was there was a shock factor of, holy crap, what is going to happen next? I know now what is going to happen. So I'm a little nervous about these two books, but I do have my hopes up. But Taming Seven, the 5th book, is Claire and Gibbs' story. I am so pumped for that. Because Chloe, if I call her Chloe one more time, Claire and Gibbs are, I mean, obviously Shannon and Johnny are the it couple for this series. But Gibbs and Claire are my close second. I love them together. I love Gibbs' character. So yeah, I'm very excited about Taming Seven. I will do a review when I finish that one. But yeah, I think that this series would make a really, really great CW or Netflix show. It would have to have a high rating because of the violence and the sexual stuff going on and the drugs and whatnot. But I do think it would make a really, really good show if it was done by the right syndication. You know what I mean? The right channel did it, or streaming services. So yeah, I definitely love you guys so much. I am so grateful that you came and watched my review of The Boys of Tommen, at least the first 2 books, today on this beautiful Saturday morning. You could have been anywhere on a Saturday morning, and you chose to be here with me. So thank you so much. We are creeping to 300 followers. I cannot believe that 300 people care what I have to say about books. So thank you guys so much. And I appreciate you. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I will have a book haul on Monday because my anniversary was this weekend. And I got some books. So we're going to talk about what we got. Love you guys and see you on Monday.